All right.
Hello.
We are live. Woo-hoo! All right, and we are at EdCamp Global Classrooms going on live. And I'm super pumped about this right now because we're going to be talking about a topic that I am thrilled to talk about. And stop making fun of me, Matthew, in the background. Yeah, you are. All right, so you know what? We are like starting to get delirious, and it like doesn't matter because I'm so pumped about sharing these resources that I could be asleep and still share it and be excited about it. So if you guys have not ever experienced virtual reality, or you have, and I'm hopefully going to show you a new tool, or if you have experienced this tool, you can add to the different tools we're going to talk about because I want to talk to you guys about it. But initially, I wanted to open up the door for us to experience some VR using an app called Nearpod. So I know I used to use Nearpod like way back in the days, and when it first came out, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, you pay for it. I think I just lost interest at some point. And not too long recently, got a free subscription to Nearpod. I won it at EdCamp Vr4, and it was awesome. And so I was like, oh, I need to try this out. And so I wanted to use it, and then I saw a tweet that changed my life. So I said, okay, did I just see VR and Nearpod together? I sure did. And so I said, oh, I'm all over this. So I went and downloaded it at that point and said, okay, I am definitely going to make sure that I get this and I use this. And so it kind of made me more persistent. So I'm going to be sharing some resources with you guys, and hopefully everybody will be able to collaborate and add in some information as well. But what we're going to be doing first is going into an activity in Nearpod. So what you're going to need to do is get out, I would highly recommend getting out your mobile device. Okay, iPad, iPhone, Android device, and Android tablet. You can do this on your computer, just like anything on Nearpod, but you don't get the same experience. So just keep, you know, as far as the VR experience, the best one is on your actual mobile device. So I'm going to give you a second to download that because that will be something that you're going to want to have. And I'm pumped. So a couple things I'm just going to show you on my Nearpod here. I've started just a couple. So this one I stole from somebody called Verbs just to see what it was like. So that's not really mine. But then next week I'm presenting at TCEA. I know it's hard to see, but I'm presenting at TCEA, and I'm doing it on VR. And I have Rediscover Learning. And so we're going to start out kind of like what we're doing right now. And then right now I really wanted to emphasize virtual reality to you guys within the Nearpod, and just so you guys have a chance to see that. So we're going to be doing that top one, so I'm going to get it started. So I'm just talking until you guys get that downloaded. And then here on my end, I'm controlling everything just from my mobile device, which is extremely easy. Like I keep expecting things to go wrong, so I'm pumped about this.
They can just go
yeah.
web too. They don't have to download it.
You can go to the web, but the VR experience, that's a good point, Matthew. Even though he's in the video, he doesn't have his mic turned on because he's sitting right here. This is going to be a way for you to be able to do some VR, collaborate on this, and practice. So I just also want to point out, you guys, I see 6 viewers out there, which is awesome. You're welcome to just kind of stay in the background and watch. But if you want to join in the video chat and us collaborate on this at this point or in the future, on the events page, I actually linked the video chat. So if you want to come in and talk and us collaborate or ask questions, I don't know what's up with this kid. And so if you want to join in and be a part of this, then please do. And I'm going to go ahead at this point and I'm going to launch this. I'm going to assume you guys have this on your mobile devices. And I just want to see your faces, because Matthew, have you ever done this before?
Nearpod? Or VR on Nearpod?
Yeah.
No, I haven't done VR on Nearpod.
Okay, I'm launching live.
Gosh, it's crazy.
I did this with Cassie the other night on Google Hangout, and I was able to screen. I'll have to put on some pictures.
Of me looking very.
I'll put on some pictures. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to go ahead and just tell you that all of our sessions have a Google Doc link to it. And I have already started putting some resources, and I've already seen people putting in their Twitter handles. So that's wonderful. So let's definitely keep in touch about this kind of stuff. And my lesson, how do I want to share my lesson? I can send it by email, send it to my Google Classroom, my Twitter, Facebook. And I'm actually just going to show it to you guys, and then I'm going to read it to you. It's I'm just kidding. It starts with a Z. Z-C-N-O-D. And then I'm going to type it in. I think if you're watching and you're not part of us in here in the video chat, you can't see it, but I'm going to go ahead and just type it so I don't forget. And once you're in Nearpod, you don't have to have an account to be a part of this. So this is what the cool part is. Even if you're just joining a session, then you're able to be a part of what we're doing right now. So on your screen, Matthew's going to be kind of like the person that is experiencing this in the background. All right, she's so awesome. Erin's on right now, and she said so cool. So she's seeing that screen right now on her either phone or tablet or on your computer, and you're going to go ahead and just be patient because I'm the one that's actually controlling slide by slide, and I really like that because when you're talking about virtual reality, and this is exactly what Google's doing. Google Expeditions is controlled by Google, you know, that teacher. So as they're going to these different schools and they're sharing this resource, the teacher is in control of that atmosphere. So the kids aren't just like going from here to here to here. They're actually, you know, being contained by what they're going to, and then it's a discussion and an experience, and the class is all doing this together. So that's really what we're doing right now with the added feature of other things. It's not just VR. We have all these other features too. So this is just super exciting with that. Are you on?
Okay.
All right, Matthew is lagging. I'm just kidding. Okay, we're going to let Matthew catch up because I think he'll be ready to go. Okay, how much is Nearpod? How much did we say?
I don't know.
Okay, so there is a free version of Nearpod that you can go in and you can create content, but the VR component is a paid subscription. However, what I did is I signed up for the 30-day free trial. So I wanted to explore and see and work, you know, try to figure out what's available. I want to say the pricing of it, in my opinion, is priced so that districts would buy it, not necessarily like per teacher.
Yeah.
When you're kind of looking at the per teacher price, I would say most teachers probably aren't at a place where they're paying that. But as a whole district or a whole campus, it would be a great deal, and that's what I often see when I'm going out and training and things. Whole school districts that have purchased Nearpod. So that may be something that's already available in your district, you just may not know about it. So
what's the code again?
yeah, it's Z-C-N-O-D. So if you guys are out there and you're curious about that code, to be able to get in here, this lesson pin. And then I'm able to see, you know, basically I have 3-4 people on right now to be able to participate with us. If you're actually on a computer, you could still participate. So just go to nearpod.com and still hop on. You're just not going to have the kind of experience, and I can explain it. It might be a good way for you to see what the difference is. But from here, I'm controlling everything. So I'm walking around the class. The students are on their devices, whether it be old Android devices or newer iPhone devices or whatever, you know, so it ranges. And so I'm going to say, okay, we're at 5 right now, so I'm going to say, okay, we're ready to start our adventure. VR adventures across the world, ECGC 16 style. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and swipe to the next screen. So I literally just swiped over, brought you guys to our first poll. So I want to know a little bit about where you guys are at. So where do you guys stand with VR? So it helps me know how to accommodate our discussion right now. Do I discuss it in a way that is just like elementary and you guys are like, I know all this stuff, or am I talking about it with a group that maybe doesn't have any knowledge of VR? So I just want to make sure that, so 5 out of 6 people have answered. So the 6 people that are on, yeah, there's Matthew. SAT prep. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just stop it at this point because there may be somebody that says, you know, I'm not gonna answer, or maybe somebody will. I don't know. We're at 7 people right now. So, okay, class participation. So I can see the answers, and I'm going to swipe it up. I'm just going to swipe it up on my screen, and it's going to now go drop onto your screen. So my results that I can see for class participation is how, you know, what is your familiarity with virtual reality? So I would say that, have you ever used it before? 57. So half of us have never used VR in the classroom. 42%. So I would say half and half, right? Would you say about half and half? So, and where they're at kind of depends on where we're going with it next. So I'm just going to swipe over and go to the next screen, and let's play. So. Best when used on a mobile device. I'm just kind of setting you guys up for the best possible experience right now, but you can look and participate right now with what we're doing on a computer. There is a way to make this work, but I just swiped over, and now you guys go ahead and look at your screen. There should be some ahas right now. Matthew, you're on did you go on the web or are you on the app?
I think I'm on the web.
If you're on the web, you're not going to experience it the same.
No! Okay.
Now, can you still answer? Okay, Aaron's saying, wow, yay. I'm loving that. Okay, so that is kind of where this changes, because right now, if you are, and here, Cassie has it, she's going to join on. Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I have an app. I just...
To see what it's different? Yeah.
You're just being lazy over there.
Is it Italy? Oh, hold on to that, Aaron. All right.
Oh, okay.
Now we get there.
I know Aaron's like, wow. So as you guys, I want you guys to go ahead and look around. If you're on your devices, look at Matthew.
Okay.
Perfect example of how funny our kids will look when they do this. So as you guys can see, what Matthew is experiencing is a full 360 panoramic image all wrapped around him, and he's really getting into it.
You can zoom in.
Yeah, you sure can zoom in.
Sweet.
So there are some fun ones that we're going to participate in, but now that you guys have at least went on and checked that out. Now, if you're on a computer, this is when you're going to see, okay. She said, how did you get this into Nearpod?
How do you get in that in Nearpod?
I really hope somebody from Nearpod is watching this right now because I'm just so thrilled to share this. It's a new feature from Nearpod, and it was so incredibly easy to set this up. I am pumped to share what this resource can do for you guys. So I'm super excited for you guys to see this. So I would love to screen share and show you how easy it is to set it up because it is extremely easy. So you can literally do this with your kids tomorrow. That's how easy it is to set this up. Would you say that, Cassie?
Yeah.
It was very easy.
You could do it like right now.
Yeah. You could set it up. It took like no knowledge, none.
It's awesome. It's so easy.
All right.
How easy is it?
Yeah. Look at that.
So easy.
Okay. I'm swiping to the next screen, and guess what? Now I want to know, okay, not just, hey, we experienced this, but now it's like, hey, let's see. I need to get some content from you guys. I need to get some interaction about what we just did. So we're not just experiencing this, but now we're pulling it into our content. And here is where do you think we went? And so Aaron had a really good guess. Really good guess. This is an open-ended question. All right. We have Dragon here. Hello, Dragon.
Yes.
Hi.
Huh?
We're on Nearpod right now. Do you have that app?
Hey.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Okay. So we're on Nearpod, and are you joined in with the actual session?
No.
If you go to me, I have the code on there.
Okay. And inside of the chat over here, if you open up the chat on the left-hand side, it will pop up on the right, and there's the code for you to join in. So and the cool part is say Dragon's popping in now. So he can actually participate exactly where you guys are at the moment. He doesn't have to start all over and try to catch back up. But now we're getting these open-ended questions that I can actually look through, and I can say, okay, well, somebody answered here. Let's see. Katie said Italy, and then I can say, oh, guys, go ahead and look at that. That's what Katie
So
thinks.
be it.
What's that?
We'll just see about that.
Okay.
Okay.
So here we are, and we're going to go ahead and look at Aaron's Leaning Tower of Pisa, and I'm going to pop that out. So I'm just kind of showing different people.
You can't handle the truth. I'm gonna rip the eyes out of your head and piss in your... You fucked with the wrong Marine.
Oh my word. I love that it just, sorry about that, guys. Hopefully no students were sitting. So I'm just kind of showing different people.
You can't handle the truth. I'm gonna rip the eyes out of your head and piss in your... You fucked with the wrong Marine.
Oh my word. I love that it just,
So,
sorry about that, guys.
I want to say that is amazing.
I really know how to do this because I can see using. I can see this in the social studies where we're going to the Alamo. I can see this in this space.
And we're talking about planets and things like that. I think there's a lot of good applications that I can put right into like elementary, just saying classrooms.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right. Sorry about that. You got it?
Good.
Okay. So here we are. We're looking at different answers. So I can go through and just respond and everybody's response I can just keep on sharing with the class, okay? So then we can talk about why people answered that way. I really like the free option of exploration there of just response. You weren't necessarily choosing A, B, C, D. And now, if you guys notice, if you're actually on there right now, what are you guys experiencing now?
Underwater reefs of some sort.
It's pretty awesome.
That is pretty cool.
That's right. Underwater is 100% right.
Shut up, bitch.
Oh my gosh.
How are they still on?
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and turn on moderator control room.
He's not on.
He's not on
He's
there.
disconnected.
How is it still going on?
We're good.
Okay.
So I'm wondering how they get their pictures. Are you going to go through how they get this image? Is this through Nearpod's images, or is there something that you did?
No. No. Okay.
This is great.
I'm so sorry, guys. This is the weirdest thing I've ever experienced. So here we are. I'm going to go ahead and just leave mine muted. But I just wanted to show you guys how you can go on different field trips. You guys can discuss and talk. And we're going to go ahead and just explore these different locations we're bringing you right now. Anybody have a guess?
I want to say Seattle.
Okay. And now I'm bringing you to the next place. So you guys can see I'm just swiping through and bringing you guys to different locations here. All right. That one's actually at Statue of Liberty.
That's it.
And so, okay, last question. Do you plan to use VR in the future?
I don't want the government videotaping my genitals.
Nearpod is the Players app. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so we have class participation here. 7 of 11 have participated, and yes and no answers. And so it's just really nice for us to get that feedback and that response from people and be able to share with the class. I like being able to share those polls. So as you're sitting there and actively engaged in the VR, then you're able then to respond to your students based upon the responses you're getting back from them. I am sharing you guys the data that I'm getting back, but you don't have to. You can actually just get on there and say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and just, show you guys this stuff, and nobody else sees what I see, but I'm getting this information back. Maybe I'm giving it as a grade or whatever I'm doing with my students. So Anyways, that is basically in a nutshell how Nearpod works. So I'm going to go ahead.
Weirdo! Because it's a tree going.
Does this kind of stuff?
A chimpanzee.
If you go
So they just go. You understand that?
And block.
Yeah, block.
If you go down, goes right there. Alright,
Oops, sorry.
we can keep rolling.
I had it.
Okay. I just want to protect the people that are joining in here.
Okay.
And I would rather focus on that. Do you want to go ahead and take over?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
that's
And you
good.
can show some viewers here.
Okay. I think that was great. I never used Nearpod for that. And I would totally use that in the classroom. And I believe there are a lot of things that VR is one of the hot topics right now, just in instructional technology, how to use it in gaming. It's gaining ground on gaming. I think a lot. Just because of the versatility and the inexpensive. You can use any device, and you have a free app in Nearpod, and there's a lot more other ones out there. This one here is the one that's going to go over next.
Okay. So basically what we're looking at is Google Cardboard. And I'm going to show you one that has not been opened. A lot of people get kind of freaked out about that. They get worried that they're not going to put it together. But it comes together pretty easily. It kind of just wraps up and creates something there.
So it's really nice just to be able to see that you can put something very quickly
together for your device to fit in, and to be able to put that in here. Do you mind having James not be in here?
No.
Okay, thank you. So having the device in here, and then being able to explore from here. It will split your screen for different apps that you're running with. And I just wanted you guys to be aware in that Google Doc that you guys would be able to collaborate in. I also linked a Symbaloo webmix. Has a bunch of different VR apps that you guys can use that have just some really cool tools. So anyways, yeah, it's pretty fun. So I'm excited about just using the VR in the classroom and different ways that we can get our students engaged and really outside of the classroom so that they can explore in a way that they never did before. This is a very an old school one that was years ago. I guess it worked with up to an iPhone 4. So that's kind of fun because you're looking at these My 3D. And so to be able to come in here and put in a device, and fortunately Deborah had one here. So you just kind of put your device in there, you snap it in like this, you snap it in, and then you can actually look through here. I mean, when we look at this, it's kind of like the viewfinder, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's essentially what we're looking at, and that is kind of fun. This one's for an older device. Cassie actually has a viewfinder, so that is something that is kind of becoming popular. And then, of course, we have some more current different virtual reality wearable technologies like HoloLens we're looking at that has even augmented reality pulled in. And then we also have, what other, let's see, the Samsung Gear. And so there's,
Oculus.
Oculus Rift is probably the biggest within gaming. That's very common. And so there's just a bunch of different options that you can have to be able to have that experience with your kids, and that your kids really right now, even though that may not seem like it's the most important part right now, it really is, because we're looking at this taking over gaming in the future. Mm-hmm. So how are our kids going to be engaged and active inside of the classroom, and what are they doing at home? Well, they're going to be doing virtual reality at home. So it's going to be just really neat to see how we can incorporate that now in the classroom with students and have them fully active. So I love the Nearpod approach. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Is there anybody that wanted to comment or discuss or questions or I am so very sorry about this experience. This is really shocking. I've never had this kind of experience trying to just kind of play it off. So a little nervous about unmuting people. But if you guys want to go ahead and unmute yourself and discuss, and if we need to hop off this one and restart another one, I'll just make sure it's relinked accurately in our schedule so that you guys are aware of that without being able to jump in. So any comments or questions?
Awesome. We need to either mute. You want me to mute?
Okay. Either one.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I'll mute.
Anybody have any questions?
I know that some of these things are. I need to mute myself. Yeah. Go ahead and mute.
No. Okay, good. One of the things I was seeing is wearables. This is going into like the whole wearable era where you're having the virtual reality glove, you know, that you would see maybe like Back to the Future type of feel, or where your hands are now going to be into it. You know, right now we're seeing a lot of the eyes. They're getting into the hands, which is great. Some are the actual virtual where you don't even need any type of wearables and things like that. But I know that Apple Watch is coming out with things that it picks up where your wrist is. So same thing, just like with Xbox Connect. You know, they're developing things at Microsoft too that I know that you don't need. It picks up your profile and things like that. So it's booming. It's one of the things to try to hop up on and get accustomed to it a little bit right now. That way, when these amazing devices pop up, you're kind of in the game and you kind of already know a little bit more about the background.
Hey Matthew.
Hey.
Did you know that you can now get a college degree in wearable technology?
You can?
It's amazing. Yes, you can.
It's awesome.
Incredible.
Is that 4 year? Must be
4 year.
Must be
4 year.
I'm wondering if you need to know. It's kind of like basically an engineering base. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
computer
sure you got to know
engineering.
lots of stuff. But that would be an awesome degree.
That's an awesome
That's going into college right now.
Yeah, let's go back to college. Let's just
Let's go back
start
to
over.
college. Intern.
Is someone gonna sponsor that?
Sponsor.
Hey, we're learning every day. We're learning today.
We definitely
so
are.
We're learning a lot today, so that's awesome. And yeah, one of the questions was, where can you get Nearpod to do that? And that's actually built into Nearpod, right? The virtual reality, like field trips and things like that.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you guys this question. First off, it doesn't work with Oculus. Yeah, I mean, I would guess not. For sure, because obviously Microsoft and some of the things that, what's that?
Yeah, they don't like it.
Yeah. I don't think anything's going to start in Mac. I mean, the rumors are Apple's working on some big VR stuff, but I don't think that they've shown at this moment that they're going to hit the market big. They've really come big from the Android market more than anything. So, I mean, when you're looking at PCs, that's supposed to be like, oh yeah, these big giant towers are going to be this big, and they're going to be wearing them. So do you guys want me to show you the Symbaloo web mix of some different apps and maybe how I set up VR for Nearpod? I can show you guys how easy it was. So maybe, okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just do a screen share here. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and screen share my entire screen. Then I'll pull that up. Okay, so in Nearpod, so the way that I set this up, and can you guys all see that all right? Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to choose a new presentation. And once I select that, I can actually choose Add Slide. And I can add content. So initially, you're going to want to probably choose a slide, like your announcement, like, this is VR, okay? And then at this point, you can actually add some text and an image and some audio. I like the image because you can search Google Images. Really nice because I can just type in VR, search for it. It will give me a bunch of different options. Depending on how quick your Wi-Fi is going. And then, so I can say, I know we have like 20 billion devices set on one home network, so we're really pushing it. But, you can take any, I know.
So the neighbors
So, and then we're going to choose save, and then it's going to say, okay, well, great, you got your slide added. Now I can say, all right, let me add content. I can pull something from the web, which originally I tried to pull in a YouTube video because I think understanding 360 videos right now is really upcoming, and using it within your classroom, I think, is a wonderful, wonderful tool for your students. We looked at a static photo, you know, so it's not moving. We're moving, but it's not. It's like a panoramic image just wrapped around you. But video, I think, is just the next level for your kids, and then even add an activity. Well, our VR content is right here under Add Content. I can add a video, so I can pull in a video from YouTube, which is really fun because I can add a video, a 360 video. The only problem is right now when I pull in just like a different video, it's not actually pulling in 360. So it has to be pulled in within the proper app in order to make that work. But then over here, do you guys see that new? This is like amazing. They have some top picks, so I can look at these things and say, wow, look at that, wow, Avenue of the Dead and the Big Iron. So, you know, you could just look at all. I love this one, Great Wall of China, okay? So I could choose done, and there it is. And then I could come back over here, and again, I could choose another piece of content and my field trip. And maybe I want to say, okay, well, let me just preview this. So if I click in there, I can actually see what that image will look like by clicking and dragging. Now, this is probably what many of you guys were experiencing, and I am not, it's like you have to have the right setup with the right updates and the right software to make that work. So if you're on a computer or you're on the web, you may have seen an image, but you weren't really looking around. It wasn't really wrapped. It wasn't something that was interactive. So that's why, yeah, and there's a way, I mean, I downloaded the software so that I can click and drag in here to look at that, but it just wasn't worth it. You know, to me, it's like, well, we're just going to emphasize using devices if that's possible, just, you know, tablets or mobile devices. As opposed to trying to push a software to download, and even then it's not consistent. So that's why I kind of figured. But here's the coolest part. These are not our only options. So I'm going to let Cassie let us know.
What?
So I'm going to let Cassie know, or let us know where she wants to go. You want to go to Mars? Where would you like to go?
I feel like I'm on Mars.
I know. I feel like I am too.
Let's go to Cancun.
All right.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Did I spell that right?
I'm going.
All right. So I'm going to choose search. Which one looks good? She's looking at the beach. I know it is.
This one.
All right. She wants to choose the Sunset Royal Cancun, and I say done. Okay. So I have these different settings. Just like I had asked you guys, I can add activities as well. So that means I can add the open-ended question like I gave you guys, a poll, a quiz. Pretty much if you're familiar with any Nearpod, all this stuff is here already. So that kind of stuff could be added to the end or interweaved in between here to kind of add that experience. And then at the end, I just choose publish. Now you guys would then be able to join in. I can establish, you know, all right, this is pre-K or PD, let's say. And then I can come over here and say, all right, it's other, and then I can publish. And then by doing this, it now gives me that code to share with other people to join in. So I'm able to choose that live session, and I can select that, and I can run it from here. And then with that code, I'm able to join in on my device and kind of look around and make sure everything looks good. I can share it on social media, link it, pull it in my Google Classroom, my email and such, so you guys can see all the different options I have. One other thing I wanted to show you guys is my Assembly web mix that I had been working on. Now all of this again is linked inside of our Google Doc for this session. So if you guys wanted to go back to it and play with it and explore, but these are our 360 videos, all directly linked from YouTube. Now initially when I learned about 360 videos, I was looking at it from a YouTube app because that's all I knew about it being available. Since then, I've actually learned about N360 Tube, And that is incredible because it takes away all the ads and all the recommendations and all the things that would have been a problem with having this with students. It really minimized all of those issues because it was a matter of just searching. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend that one right there. And then there's a couple other things in here, all kind of interweaved. These, you can see the ones here. These are all my Apple apps here, and then above in the blue are the Android apps, kind of interweaved and matching up for which is which. And so you guys can just see some of them. You can create your own. You actually can create what you guys just experienced. You can create those photos in different. I know Google has their own camera now. So that camera then will be pulled in. You have to have the right device, but then Sphere has it and works on both devices. And so there's just different apps that you can use to pull all of this in, and it's available. So yeah, that is VR and stuff that I am just super pumped about because I think it's something that we can absolutely all come in together and be able to experience and share with our kids. So any thoughts, or have you guys experienced stuff that you want to share? Because I've been talking the whole time. I'm sorry. No? No?
I had a question about the cardboard. I know there's a lot of different versions out there of the cardboard, not just Google Cardboard, but other versions. What are some things that they need to look for? I know that it's not just cardboard, there's actually lenses and things, right? So if you're going to make it yourself, which I know there's some DIY stuff, what are some things that you mentioned about the lenses, and like what just a magnet tape? Is that what it is?
You know, I think it is. I think the lower grade you get, the less quality you get. I was able to buy a set of 5 of these for $20 off of Amazon. It came from China. It took a couple weeks, but it was worth having. And really, the most important part with your Google Cardboard is what you're going to hear a lot is your lens and your magnets, because sometimes the app requires a swipe down on the side. This is what you don't do, is let your first grader play with your Google Cardboard because your magnet might disappear. But yeah, when you're sitting there and you're viewing, you can actually swipe down and it controls, it kind of lets your device know to go to the next slide or do the next thing. So it's like a selection tool too. So I know that that's important for certain apps, but not all of them. So it just really depends on which one you're looking at. But the lens is important because I think that experience it makes a difference. I will recommend, if you guys notice, that's disgusting, but that is inevitable. When you're looking at cardboard touching people's foreheads and you're having a bunch of people try it all the time, gross, but reality. So some people that I've talked to, they actually get the ones that are already laminated, or they laminate it, or they'll put tape or something on there. So that might be something to consider if you end up purchasing something like that, because I think that's a big deal. I know if you guys are going to be at TCEA, yeah, tape is a good idea. Free. And, hey, this is another cool thing. So I actually gave it to a first grade teacher who incorporated VR into her class. Really cool lesson that we did together with the kids. But while we were doing it, I wanted to give her one of the cardboards. So what I did is I totally went online and saw how people, like art classes, were designing different things on their cardboard. And when they were designing it, they were turning out really neat. So I had like kind of mimicked a design that I saw online and gave it to her, and I thought that was kind of fun. You know, you can totally do something like that, and I think we'll camouflage all the oils from our fingers and things like that that might get on your cardboard that will make it look gross faster.
Or we could draw Eggcam Global.
Yeah, that's right. You can draw the Eggcam Global. There you go. Smart kid. And so... But another part of this, I think, in looking at your viewer is, you know, they are cardboard. They're going to be cheaper made. But then also a lot of people talk about how, like, we're looking through a device. When we're looking at true virtual reality of the future, when we turn, there is a little bit of a delay. And the more delay that you have, the actual more motion sickness people experience. So, like, people complain. Like, I actually have had sessions, and you guys remember this at the FIT conference? I've had sessions where there's people that are watching somebody else do it, and they're getting sick just by watching them do it. Like, they're like, too close. Just don't show me what it looks like. Like, they just couldn't handle it. So that's kind of crazy to think that that is how much it can affect you. But there are people that can get really sick from it, and they do advise like ages above 7. So there's something that it does to you, I think, falling over or feeling, so it's interesting. But that's the kind of things that I've experienced so far as looking at quality of the future. The closer it is to the actual motion that you're going, the less delay it is, more precision, I guess you should say, the less you're going to feel that sickness. Like they're saying that the reason why you're feeling that is because it's just a cheap version of what it is and what it should be. So I think that kind of gives people relief to know in the future that will be less likely to kind of impact people about motion sickness. So you guys have any other comments or ideas? Or I have a funny story to share with you guys. I shared this earlier, but I want to share it again because I think it's hilarious. You guys ready to hear a story?
Ready.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Bring it on.
Okay, so here is this first grade class that I went and showed VR to. So I had my phone showing a couple different apps and the teacher's phone. So we had the kids going around in a rotation. And this first grade student was just, he was like new to the school, and he was all upset because he wanted to be the first one to do it. He didn't. He cried. And so by the time he finally got up there, he was so pumped to be doing this VR. So here he is, he's like, oh, whoa, you're just watching him just fully immersed into what he's doing. And he starts walking towards the wall. And I had to literally, because I'm thinking, oh, he's joking. I had to go run over there and stop the kid from hitting the wall because it was like he didn't have any restraint from just walking into anything. And so I stop him and I kind of chuckle thinking he's joking and bring him back. And not too long after, you see him kind of going like this and doing like a motion. And I'm thinking, oh, he just probably wonders, your brain's trying to figure out what's going on. And after we were done with his, it was next kid's turn, and he's talking to me. Of course, he still wanted to play it. I'm like, no, you're going to have to wait. And so he's telling me, hey, can I ride that dinosaur? And I thought, well, that would be an interesting VR experience, wouldn't it? And I kind of chuckled, and then he kind of chuckled, and then so can I ride the dinosaur? And I said, well, good thing those dinosaurs are extinct, because I don't think that dinosaur wants you riding on him, because he might just eat you. And the kid was like, kind of picking up extinct, and he goes, no, he won't. He's nice. He's a good dinosaur. It was like he was confirming that this dinosaur was totally okay with him riding on his back. And so I kind of just took back, and I go, well, why would you even say that? It's just kind of like, well, why would you say that he's nice? He's a nice dinosaur. Because I pet him, and he let me pet him, and I think he's gonna let me ride him. It's like, I kind of came to the conclusion, I'm riding that dinosaur. And so
And he said it was okay.
I think we're on the same. And so I know, but to realize how much it affects our lives with VR and how much our brains are actually responding. They're using it for a lot of different things. They're using it to support people and maybe making decisions for public speaking, and just a variety of different things. Ooh. Okay, so he's talking about like within art, like designing your own 3D images. Oh, yeah. That would be really cool. And you haven't done it yet? Well, that would be really awesome. Have you ever worked with the 3D pens, like the like instead of printing things 3D? So you're dealing with 3D printer, but they have the 3D pens now. That's kind of like a glue stick, and it just hardens immediately instead of glue that takes a little while. You just kind of design something. That was the first one. Yeah, Deborah told me about it last year, and then now several have come out.
A lot of professional ones that almost do instantly, so you can draw.
Nobody has bought me one yet.
And Deborah's still without a 3D pen.
I found that
so badly.
working on it, you kind of have to get a feel for how much lift, and so I know there's some templates out there or some like coloring sketches where you can draw on the flat surface, and then you'll basically just peel it off like kind of a wax paperish, and then it stands up, and then you have your image. So you can print off like a company logo or something, and then trace that logo on this little vellum-ish wax paper, and it'll peel right off, and then you have your little stand. You can just put it right there on your desk. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool stuff.
That is, I mean, I think all of those things of our kids designing something, I think that is, what is that product he said? Do you know? Which pen was it?
The 3D Doodler?
3D
There's Doodler, but there's some
Doodler.
there's some other ones that are
they're
professional ones that are like more,
they're starting to become more popular. And you know, they started out at $100.
Lessons and curriculum do to go with the pens now as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, think about it. If you're telling your kids about an object that's three-dimensional, and the kids are looking at it on a flat piece of paper, like that's just insane. And to say, you know what? You show me. What does a pyramid look like?
Right.
A prism. You know, or, you know, and for them to let me show you, you know, make their little box like this, you know, and so, you know, for them to have that chance to be able to express what that really is I think it really brings that learning to home, which is why we always use manipulatives, right? So I can't remember if there's anything else. Carrie, you had asked something about Nearpod. Earlier, you had posted a question. Is there something that you wanted to ask about Nearpod, or is there anybody? I'm on your Nearpod. Oh, awesome. Okay, you know what? So if you were on that Nearpod, so I don't know which one I have active right now. Do I have that one active? That one. Okay, so that one that we made together, I can launch that one. Or I can go back and look at different ones and see and launch it. So I think okay, so she has that code, and I think that was the second code, wasn't it, Carrie? So if I do launch live, just the one that we did, just, you know, I don't know, it took us, what, a few minutes to make that? And so I can continue. And then she can join in. Oh, I think it changed. I think once you republish something, it changes that code.
Yeah, every time, unless you do the homework code. If you have a paid version, you can do the homework, and you just post the code up, and you can use it as a center for your students. If they're going there, they just punch in the code, and they can go through it at their own pace. So that's good.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm just starting to get back into Nearpod. I was really not. You know, I wasn't like back in the days. Again, it was like, you know, when you try something and then you don't try it for a long time and you don't realize all the amazing things it does. Haven't used it yet. Yeah, guys, I'm telling you. Oh, I was going to tell you about TCEA. If you guys are going to be at TCEA next weekend, I'm presenting on virtual reality, and Nearpod has been in touch with me, and they're going to be giving out free stuff, including subscriptions at TCEA. Great question. So TCEA is actually one of like the largest technology conferences in Texas. So when you're talking about educational technology, this is kind of, have you ever heard of ISTE? So that one's like the national type. Are you in the States, Mr. T? I'm going to call you Mr. T because I think your last name starts with a T. Oh, he's in Maryland. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. That's what his students call him. That's so awesome. That's so cool. All right. I know. I would. Me too. Mrs. D. Yeah. Anyways. Don't be messing my stuff, boo.
And it's happening.
But you know, to be able to have these as options, I mean, I am just so pumped about sharing it. Oh, I will tell you guys, even if you're not at TCEA, if you go to ISTE, I'll be presenting on that as well on virtual reality, but I will always have stuff as much as I can get out there, especially free for people and sharing resources. Like, I think this should be in every classroom. So if I can do anything to help support you guys, even if it means like you're sending something out to Nearpod saying, hey, can we try this for 6 months and kind of convince our district? Like, I'll just retweet, you know, EdCamp Global, retweet. Yeah, I'll play that card. But you know, if we can get something cool for you guys' class. Dash and Dot, tell us about that. I've heard about that recently, but I don't know what Dash and Dot is. Somebody was just mentioning that at EdCamp Global. Robots.
Right, they're the little bugs, and you code on. You can make kind of like a Sphero, but you actually put in the code or the snap queue, kind of like code.org.
Yeah.
Snap in, but you have to figure out, and kids make obstacle courses and things like that. It's kind of wild.
That's really
Yeah,
cool.
learn and get a handle on coding.
Designed for ELS.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, sure.
They can talk. That's so cool.
And they have outfits. You can dress them up for
No.
Halloween and Christmas and stuff. They have outfits now. Insane. Little kids love it.
Do you have that, Mr. T, in your class? Are we able to, do we mute everybody or can they talk?
They should be able to talk. Hear you guys.
Okay.
I muted myself just because of all the background noises.
Oh, we still can't hear.
My microphone going all over the place.
I know, Mr. T.
I found a couple people.
I think it is. Or can you hear him?
I don't know. I don't want to get echo from you.
Should be able to hear me.
Yes, we're good.
So I turned on my microphone. I just got one before our week of snow days.
Mm-hmm.
We got slammed last weekend or last Thursday, but I picked one up from my district to try out with my students. I have a Sphero and Ozobots right now.
Nice.
Ozobots are little cool ones. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but you can draw colored lines and they'll follow them.
Yes.
For the tablets. My problem is that Dash and Dot require the iPad 3s, and I only have iPad 2s in my classrooms, in my library, so I'm figuring it out, hoping to kind of justify somebody getting me a couple of iPad 3s so we can continue using this stuff. But
I think it's... Oh, sorry. I think it's interesting that you're mentioning like the device requirements, because I think with the technology that we're talking about, that it really will be a device requirement. And most classrooms, if they have the iPads, like the minis, they're like the iPad mini 2s at most, you know. Most people aren't buying the 3s and 4s. And there is an app, one of my favorite virtual reality apps is made by Google, and it is Google Spotlight Stories. If you guys haven't seen this, it is fabulous. It is really, really good. I'm hearing from what you're talking about with coding, I'm guessing maybe younger kids, Mr. T. So,
yeah, I do pre-K to 6.
Oh,
Definitely. I would say.
Yeah.
I think you haven't muted, or maybe I haven't. Oh, there we go. Okay. Say that one more time.
I do pre-K to 6.
This would be perfect for your kids, because what it is it actually takes a story and it brings it to life 360. So instead of me looking at just a story flat like we are on this device, I'm going to go ahead and load this, and I just want you to kind of get an idea. But it's so amazing for our young kids that they can actually use this as writing prompts. They can certainly use it to discuss why they're experiencing what they're experiencing. And it's just, I mean, it is an experience. You can just run within different directions. But as you guys can see, as I turn it, you can see that it is adjusting. And actually, in the story, I have to follow along with the item. Otherwise, the story stops playing the music, and it stops the actual story. So it's a story that comes to life, but if I get off of it and I just don't participate, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm looking at something else like the trees over here, the story, you can hear the music start to dim, and the story stops and pauses. So I just think that's so cool, because you're literally all around. You're following this little red hat, and it's hilarious. They have a bunch of stories in here, or a few stories in here.
The one with the bugs. Did you tell them about
the
that?
bug one is
That's
really
my
cute.
favorite.
But, you know, it's like you're looking at this interactive experience. You know, you're looking at, you know, this a way for the students to interact with a story that they couldn't do before. What they do has a response. So, anyways, that is VR. I have a hard time to stop talking about it, so I apologize.
That's awesome.
I'm a loud mouth, and I'm so excited about it. I think that's what it is. So, do you guys think that any of these tools you'll go back and use? Does anybody see anything that they feel like could be applicable with their kids? Awesome. Okay.
I do. I think one of the things, I'm a huge Nearpod user. I have some administrator accounts that I'm in charge of, and
So we have paid versions, and I know that before I had the paid version, I know the web downloading YouTube or putting YouTube into your Nearpod was a little harder to do because it's a premium issue. You need a gold account for that, and the free one is just silver. But what you can do is you can put Nearpod into like a screencasting app like Explain Everything, where they can get web, and so they can go from, you put your Nearpod in Explain Everything, you go through the web, and which is great because they can read and highlight in that screencasting app and go to your Nearpod, answer the questions or experience that, and then go back, and so you're working in like Explain Everything for your Nearpod. So they work really well together. But I can totally see where I'm reading a book in maybe 3rd grade about, and they stop at Paris or the Great Wall of China, and then we cut to, from the book, we cut to the virtual reality, and they get into the actual text, which is awesome. So you're connecting your reading with the virtual reality, so you can totally apply it to what you guys are doing in ELA and in your stories.
She said, Jamie, what was the Google app called? That was Google Spotlight Stories. And it is like you had mentioned, Mr. T, that there's a requirement for the type of device you have. It really requires one of the newer ones. Ogdat, good stinking point, Mr. T, because Ogdat, I just spoke to the CEO of that company just the other night. They are combining a lot of AR and VR together. They're one of our gold sponsors for EdCamp Global. They're awesome. They have some really cool stuff. Nice. Okay, so you probably spoke to them right around the same time I did. You want to take that? You guys can do the scope right now. And they're running with our hourly competition right now. So they're literally running with the competition. But basically, all that is, you guys, if you're not registered, I hope everybody here is registered. If you haven't registered, this is a hint. Register. But I will tell you that Ogdat is offering just first time I've ever seen it, combined AR and VR experience together. So I'm pumped about what they're doing. It's already there. So, I mean, their free version is there right now. So, yes, I love that you brought that up, Mr. T, because they're doing it. They're doing it.
Love it.
Date is private. Oh, he has some stuff out there right now for us to view the VR. So there is that VR is available right now, but yeah, there's some stuff that's the secret stuff. Mm-hmm. The secret. Yeah. So I'm like, when do I get to find out about the secret stuff? Doc Story Builder. I love that. Mm-hmm. I really love using that. I think it's a great way for our students to be able to collaborate and come up with a fun, like I can sit here with Matthew and we can create a story together. Instead of having 2 separate devices, it's a way for you to kind of use up the devices that you have in there. And for our students, looking for the Google one, yeah. So that one's kind of like a story builder. It writes you write your story and this kind of character, discussion. Add some music to it and it enhances it. So I really like that. So yeah.
Very cool.
All right. I don't know. I mean, again, the Google's. The one you just mentioned was Google Story Builder, but okay, I think I know what you're talking about. Google Spotlight Stories. Yes. Sorry about that. I'm like, that wasn't VR, but it's still a cool, very cool tool. Yeah, Google Spotlight Stories is the one that, yes. So that one is okay, just to give you an experience, if you don't have the right device for this, they put out on YouTube, their last video was something about a gift. Delivery. Special Delivery. It was called Special Delivery by Google Spotlight Stories. You can view it in the YouTube app and get the 360 experience. It's awesome. And so you can kind of see Santa. He's like going from different buildings. It came out during Christmas. And he was like delivering packages, and the buildings are all wrapped around you. So you're like watching him go from place to place and disturbing the cat, and the cat runs off or whatever. It's really cool. So if you look up Google Spotlight Stories in YouTube, you should be able to see Special Delivery and be able to experience that even if you don't have the latest version of those devices. So.
One of the coolest VR things I've ever seen is, and it wasn't related to, well, it was. We were doing in 4th grade math, they were doing angles and stuff, and we made like a kind of like a virtual amusement park and things like that. And as the treat at the end, because they physically built it, and then they also did it virtually with like ThingLink and stuff like that. But we did a kind of virtual reality with roller coasters, and it was the coolest thing because on YouTube they have all sorts of roller coaster, GoPro videos, and you do that with a viewfinder. It's insane. It does makes my stomach drop because it's like I am there.
Yeah.
And I can totally see if you don't like roller coasters in general, you probably would get the same effect where you probably wouldn't like that. But if you're a roller coaster junkie like I am, you'd totally be into it.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
Cool.
It's like they even say like how you physically respond. If somebody comes up in your space and you're sitting here, and in your experience somebody comes in your space even though they're virtual, you naturally step back. Like that just blows my mind. I posted, if you guys are not a part of this, I have a Google community that I started just a couple weeks ago on virtual reality where I'm sharing stuff regularly. Everything I come across, I'm posting like different things. So I'd love for you guys to join. I'll post the community on our Google Doc after this. But I posted something about how our brains respond to virtual reality, and it is a very, very cool video. It really kind of walks you through even like rehabilitation, for athletes and how they recover, and just the concept of like even people that don't have a leg, let's say when they're experiencing it as if they have the limb, their bodies physically respond as if, even though they know they don't have it, they're seeing that they have it, so they naturally respond as if they have it. It's a really crazy phenomenon with our brains, but it just goes to show you how powerful of a tool we have to utilize in our classroom to really support our kids in learning. So it's pretty cool.
I can't wait for it to go more towards education. Usually education kind of falls behind engineering and things like that, because we know that they're using virtual reality to do engineering when they're doing even welding and doing that parts. But you see it in test pilots and things like that. And, the old simulators that we used to see at the arcade is nothing compared to what they have now. Now they can do all their flight hours virtual. They don't even need to go up in the air, which is crazy to think that it's that accurate, and you're trusting that they can beat this game or simulator, and then they actually take you up and do their flight hours up there. But that's crazy. I can't wait for it to hit. Are we done? Ended.
Oh, Mr. T's still here.
Thanks. But where we can virtually do lessons and have the teacher kind of like in the viewfinder for students on particular lessons. It's almost like they can check out that lesson at the media center or the library. They can do that lesson, and where they can go ahead and not be hindered by, even though I know this lesson, I mastered this. I can't stay in. I can't move on because they're teaching everyone else in the class. Like I can actually move forward and advance my own education by pulling out other lessons from.
Well,
can't wait.
And if done right, we could also get them interacting with kids in other classes or other schools even.
Yeah.
Virtually in another classroom. So, yeah.
You know what? That's a good point, because we all keep wondering about actually having a 360 experience live. Because what it is you have these different cameras. If you imagine a GoPro, wide lens, imagine all circulating around. So these 16 GoPros looking at all these different angles, and they're grabbing this software that's stitching together all these videos. So what you're essentially looking at are video, right? All layered perfectly together. And so it's like, well, how can we get that live? Why can't we? If we can have a live video like we are right now, why can't that be live as a 360 experience?
We should be able to do it. I know there are lots of. I just got back from Peru this summer, and through Towson University, I went on a Fulbright scholarship trip to Peru.
So cool. So cool.
And I was doing some research on cameras before going, and I found a couple that are still in development. I have them researched somewhere that are one camera that's 360.
I've heard
as
that.
As opposed to the 16 cameras of GoPro, which is exorbitantly expensive.
Right.
Well, Sarah Thomas, I don't know if you guys know Sarah Thomas on Twitter. She's one of our organizers for ACAMP Global Classrooms as well. But she has a camera. I think she paid like $250 for hers. Of course, the quality isn't real perfect, but she's able to do 360-degree videos all the time. And I think that's just so cool.
What camera does she have? Do you know?
I don't know the name of it. I mean, I might not even know it even if you said which one it was.
Sure.
at the time, I was like, I just feel like when I finally buy this, I want to make sure it's something that has high enough quality that it doesn't just become outdated the next week,
Yeah. I know there's an app that you can do 360 videos and, kind of like a tour, but you have to access that video through that app, so it kind of makes you be in that app. So that's what I did.
The thing we have to remember is that our students aren't going to care.
Yeah.
Technology is outdated a week or two from now. Most of our students won't have access to this type of tech in their home for a good year or two or more.
Yeah.
So they'll still be enthusiastic over it, and then you just put the pipeline, because if we wait, depending on when we want to buy it, we'll never get it.
That's true. That's a really good point. That is. I feel like just this year, though, if they're saying 2016 is a year of VR, like this is supposed to be the year that everything goes big. So, when everything first starts out, it's just super expensive, and then it kind of drops down in price, and it's a much better product, the kind of design. So we're still like in these beta testing kind of experiences right now, where you're going to pay the higher price for less of an experience. Yep. So I'm trying to wait it out to where it's something that will be long term. But I am there. Like my birthday's in March, and I'm like, honey, I think I need a 360 camera. I think that's what I need, not what I want. Like I'm at the point of need. So, but yeah, I really think that for me, that's something I would use regularly to share with other students in classes. That's just important. Our kids need to they need to not just be the ones that are consuming this. They need to be the ones making this. They really do. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know this right now, but we're over here at headquarters for Ed Camp Global Classrooms, and one of the organizers, Deborah Atchison, her sons are doing the next 2-hour sessions, and one of her sons are doing a session on drones. So he's flying it around inside right now. We're going to probably go outside because it has lights on it, and it does like all these little flips, and he has a camera on it to be connected. So we're all pumped about watching that. So
I was looking at drones over Christmas. I've self-funded my technology, because I'm in the library, and a lot of the teachers in the classroom spend hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars for their classroom.
Right.
I used to do so. So I kind of get a little bit of tech to try. And go ahead.
No, that's really cool.
So I started looking at drones before Christmas, but because I'm within 30 miles of DC, FAA has grounded at least a certain number of them because of the commercial flight plan. The same thing applies for drones. I don't know what level of drone, if any, are legal in my area.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What's funny is they were telling me that the drone that they have goes up 500 feet or something. And I think you're right. There's airspace a lot. You got to consider. And not only that, they're saying that even drones, like they came up with all these business plans of how you can have a drone and make it affordable and effective, like people carrying like a, when you send for Valentine's Day, a Valentine's gram or something. Well, that whole concept, even with drones, like sharing things, package delivery, Amazon was doing that, and that became because of that. But the crazy part is with all of that was happening, is that people's privacy is a big deal. So being able to go to your next door neighbor's yard, or having an aerial view of something that is privately blocked off without it, is starting to become almost like copyright. It's like, hey, this is my private house. You can't be in here viewing my home.
Well, and you've heard about the people who've shot the drones down, right?
No.
Shot drones down because they were invading their privacy there. The FAA and the government and Congress are just starting to look at this, I've read, because right now the FAA has from the grade of your grass blade up is all legal commercial airspace.
Yeah.
A ruled airspace. So they're looking at how to deal with the privacy and all of this stuff now, but it's not there yet.
Yeah. It's just kind of crazy. Like, it's an exciting technology, even like Periscope, right?
Yeah.
So the first year, like, Periscopes come out, Twitter bought them this year, or back 2015, and we're about to go to this conference, and you can see on there it says you cannot stream a whole, it's like this technology that you think is such a valuable tool. You recognize how many problems, like, hello, how many problems did we run into tonight with somebody hijacking our session? That was insane. And so, you know, it's a wonderful tool, but it's also, you can run into a lot of problems. So figuring it out, don't spend your whole day figuring it out and never move forward, but then also being prepared, which I was not. I was not prepared for that, to be honest with you.
No, you did the right thing. I mean,
something.
shutting it down is the only thing you can do sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's kind of like
kept your
shock, like,
calm.
whoa,
Mhm.
Wow. Anyways, I finally threw my phone. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
What in the world?
You know, I'm like, this is for kids. Who would do this? You're a monster. Anyways, hopefully I can crop out a lot of this stuff and still share it, because I think a lot of teachers would want to know about these kinds of tools that are available.
and you should be able to chop him out.
I think so too. I don't know.
The
You know,
tools.
I thought that within the control center that there was the option. Do you know, Matthew?
If there's a control option.
Like, can we kick somebody out to where they cannot come back in?
On Hangout?
Yeah, if they have the link, probably
If they
not.
have the link, they can keep on coming because they can always just log out because we're not blocking their individual profile.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're just blocking them at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, we can monitor and have. Can we change the settings to private and have the only ones that are in there? Probably, but would we have
That keeps anybody of the latecomers out too.
Yeah.
We'd have to log out and then invite them back.
Yeah, and I almost did it that last time. I thought, you know what, this isn't worth
So
this is not worth what he is doing to us right now, but I'm glad that he didn't try to come back in, at least not yet. But hopefully this will be a chance for other people to grow and learn, and really, this was eye-opening for me. We have students coming on right now, and thankfully this guy's doing this during an hour where our students weren't on here on a chat. That would have been awful. So.
It's an opportunity to have that discussion about how to handle yourself in these complex scenarios, because our students have these experiences online at home, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Other things. So it's a teachable moment. We don't like it, but it's just like if you're on a field trip. If somebody comes through and does something there in real, you know, when we're out in the street.
Oh, look, Aaron just posted something about support.google.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, look it up.
Aaron, thank you so much. I'm going to have to look that up, because I think that when you're looking at that for our students, you know what it makes me want to do for our future events? It makes me think maybe we need to set up because we have so many issues with people knowing coming in and coming out, and maybe it needs to be us setting up all of these and them come in and us, and like people signing up that have signed up for EdCamp Global Classrooms or EdCamp Global. Those are the people that are allowed to hop in.
I think so. We can send notifications to all the attendees and just keep adding them to it. I mean,
as they're registering.
That would work. I'm probably one of the few, or maybe one of the many, who've come in just from one of the Twitter link, and I haven't registered or done anything of that.
Register.
Oh yeah, you'll want to register.
You want to get some stuff, you register.
Hey, there's a reason why we're calling some of our sponsors gold.
Sure. I can register. I just didn't realize and stuff until I came on this morning and so on. Where do you register?
You'll register on the EdCamp Global website. So if you just look up EdCamp Global, you'll be able to get to our website. Every single one of our pages has a register now link or a register here link.
Was that Wix?
Wix, yes.
Wix?
Yeah.
Okay. No, it was one of those things. I haven't been in school all week. It's like I like the idea, but I'll be in school.
Yeah, Cassie, there's like all these
Did you have a late start today, or were you out?
We've been out all week.
Wow. Because Sarah Thomas, who lives out near Washington, D.C., I guess they had a late start.
Elementary math chat.
I think she's in my district.
Yeah, that's crazy. She started at 10, she said.
All right, well, then she's not in my district. She must be in Virginia or elsewhere, because our district hasn't had school all week here in Maryland.
So you guys are far enough away to where you obviously had more impact by the snow, huh?
Yeah, we had about someplace had 20 to 30 inches of snow out here, and we can't deal with it.
Yeah, sure.
We can deal with about 3 if we're lucky, and it happens on a weekend, and we get the sun to melt it.
Yeah.
Half inch will shut us down. So where's the registration on here? I don't.
Yeah, if you're on the main page on the left-hand side, I want to say, you'll see like register here. It'll pull you into a form.
Yeah. It just looked like it was for facilitators at the moment, so.
Yeah, well, we were really trying to get our students. My goal was, and said this was Sarah's role, was trying to get a student filled up every hour. I would love to have seen our students leading a session every hour. It didn't happen, but I think the more that this event becomes, because this is our first round with students, the more that this event becomes more public and people are aware, hopefully it will become the norm for our kids to have the opportunity to step up and be global leaders.
And if you work with select districts, the willing districts there to talk about, like during the school day or post-school day, and say, and bring them in to get it more of an official volume in the districts, it would work, I think.
I agree. We had, and I'm real ambitious, but we're all volunteers and we're all full-time educators. And so it sounds like a chainsaw. It's just the drone.
Nothing crazy is happening.
Hey, kid.
We're having choppy. We're going to cut this thing out.
But yeah, when we're doing this event and trying to plan it all together, it's like we're all ambitious, and then okay, thank you so much, Erin, for coming in. Thank you. Thank you for the information as well. But we can go back and say, all right, during the busy times, it was like recognizing that we were only limited to so much. But looking forward, I know that it will have to be more. Our team's just going to have to grow. We're going to have to consider, what options. At closing ceremony, I'm going to announce another event that not even the organizers know about yet. So we'll see how that all goes. Yeah, I'm announcing it at closing. Yeah. So, and it may be a total epic fail, but I'm going to try it, and I think it's important. That's right. I'm just at the place where I need to try that kind of stuff.
On your form, you might want to have like blocks of ranges, so you can check like all morning or all afternoon or all day.
That's a great idea.
That's a good idea.
So instead of checking per hour, we're looking at
both.
Love
4 more check boxes for blocks of time there. 4 more check boxes for morning, night, evening, late night, early morning.
And some of the issues that we keep running into, because we have 60 countries that have registered, the issues we keep running into is time zones. And so how that's all going to come when I've been using the tool that's pretty much universal, Google Sheets. You just can't go wrong on any device. Anything web-enabled can access it. So that's what my goal was. But in the end, it's like, it's how do I accommodate every time zone and everybody be aware of when to jump in. And so that's all going to be discussed and tried to figure it out and moving forward. Because we have Ed Camp Global coming up this summer. Did you participate in Ed Camp Global last summer?
Last summer I was in Peru, so I didn't do much of anything. I was there for 6 weeks.
Awesome.
So,
yeah, you focused on the important stuff, the learning.
Exactly.
That's cool. That is amazing. Yeah, we had Ed Camp Global, which we had almost 1,800 teachers register for. So when I had talked to Deborah about it for the first time, I'm thinking maybe 100 teachers, wouldn't that be cool if 100 teachers came together, and trying to look for alternatives that our teachers can have that wouldn't require them to have travel. That's, and how can we connect globally? And I mean, all these benefits and everything. And apparently it's just really hitting a point where people are recognizing this is where they need to go instead of just where they want to go.
This is, 4 or 5 years ago, I'd say no.
Yeah.
Now is the right time with the push for tech, with budgets being tight, and the district wanting us to do more with all this stuff. And I think probably also with the changes in our evaluations where we need to get so many
it's true.
That those things is an easy tie-in from home. I attended this seminar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and we've had a lot of people ask us if we give out, credit, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to monitor if you're on here or not. I don't know. I can't justify that, But, ed camps aren't made that way. They're really made by people just wanting to come, not because they have to come. Although I like the benefit of getting credit, and that is very nice to get the credit and to show your district you're doing very innovative things. But it's possible for us to monitor.
What about a digital badge?
Yeah, we do. We actually have one. We have pig badges. So that's all. When you registered, did you register earlier? Oh, you just now registered?
I just registered now.
Yeah, so you'll get an email, and it kind of walks you through in that, welcome letter that you can click on. It will walk you through all the different ways of being involved, and you can add a pick badge. So there's all these fun things. So it kind of highlights. Now, I wanted, and actually Matthew's the one that created that pick badge, but I wanted to have something separate for our presenters that we didn't end up doing this year. So maybe that will be, or facilitators, I should say, that will be different for them in the future. So, yeah, it's always going to change. This is not going to be the same. I can promise you next time. It'll be crazy.
What would happen if we worked with you worked with a major university to see if the Department of Ed would come up with something where there's either follow-up quick question on 3 key points that the presenters want you to mention. You go and you write a little bit. You talk to them. They maybe even for like a $50 fee. I don't know what it would cost on their end.
Credits,
but
yeah.
then credit that badge.
Yeah.
For continuing ed.
And there, did you participate in Ed Camp Voxer?
This is my first one.
Oh, cool. Okay. So Ed Camp Voxer is something that Sarah put on back in December. And when he had put it on, there was a guy that was popping on and just letting us know that that is absolutely an option. So he would, for him, it was like the follow-up, the time you spent, just like you're saying, the time you spent to prove your learning is justification enough for those college credits, basically. And they had to pay a fee, but they were able to get college credits.
Yeah. Or like even think some of them through like MIT's OpenCourseWare have like a $50 fee or a $30 fee, or some of it's free.
Yeah.
Still get these things. So if you didn't want to have them pay with the whole fee,
right,
for credit, this would be at least something to show proof of learning. But I like the idea of college credit for continuing ed purposes and salary scale changes if they allow that.
Yeah, it's a video.
Absolutely. And most schools are going to accept college credits as your hours regardless. So even if it's just a fulfillment of your hours, that would be a fulfillment there.
No, I'm just looking at like, $80, $100, $200 a credit can get a little.
We can retweet.
Costly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they're, needing some electives, or they would prefer to have an event like this where they're going to pay more, but not have to go out and spend so many hours outside of school fulfilling those credits, So it all just depends on what you value and if it's worth for you personally. But
Absolutely.
yeah, but I'm going to go ahead and hop off and get the next, I think we have a Periscope coming up here in about 20 minutes. We're going to finish up these sessions, but Mr. T, it was so cool getting to know you.
Likewise.
Talk to you, and hopefully we'll be able to connect here in the future.
Probably.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you. It's time for dinner here, and maybe the next session, depending on what's up. Snow days are wonderful for this sort of thing.
All right, that sounds awesome. Well, thank you for coming. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.